I have been single for 8 years now. That's pretty crazy. I mean, when was the last time you heard somebody say that? Actually, on my channel, I've seen people talk about being single for 20, 30, even 40 years, and it is mind blowing. But I've been single by choice for 8 years. I mean, I could have had a girlfriend if I wanted to, but I haven't. I mean, there was a couple women that I wanted their relationships to work out, but they didn't, and that's just how life is. So, this is my story. I'm 33 now. I've been single for 8 years without a girlfriend, without being in a relationship. And I'll be 34 this summer, and it's been quite a wild ride. I've definitely dated my fair share of women, and there was even a point in time where I really got sucked into the red pill community for like 2 to 3 years, and I had a very negative mindset towards women. Maybe you can relate to this. But I honestly had so much armor on because of getting hurt so many times in the past. And I really felt like there just wasn't any good women. And most guys out here, I mean, if you're watching this, you're probably a decent dude. You're on your personal development journey. And most guys are good guys. The issue today is it's tough to find a good woman, but it's not all doomers shit. Like, there are good women out there. You just have to understand that there's a lot that you can control in terms of your own growth that you should really focus on. So if you're not totally pouring into yourself right now, like trying to earn more money, if you're not in a career that you like, if you're not in good shape, if you aren't happy with your life setup, with where you live, if you have negative friends and you don't have good energy around you, like if there's a lot of things that need improvement and you know that, then you probably should stay single for a while. But let me just give you my story. So I'm 33, I'll be 34 this summer. And like I said, I've been single for 8 years. I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years in combat. When I was 20 years old, I was on a combat deployment, and I've been on a couple different deployments. I've traveled all around the world. And I also coach men to peak performance. I've worked with tons of men over the years. I was a certified personal trainer for over a decade, and I've also coached women as well. I've also had a good big experience in sales. So I've been in sales for the past 3.5 years, but man, it's really been an interesting ride. So why am I single for 8 years? Well, my story really is the last relationship that I was in ended at the end of 2016. And I rushed into the relationship right out of the military because I really just wanted to have someone. I wanted to have my person. And if you were in the military, you can probably relate to just wanting to have a peaceful life, settling down. But I got out of the military when I was 23. I met this girl online. Actually, I think it was called Military Cupid. And this is in like 2014. We dated for about 4.5 months, and then we moved to a different state together, hardly knew each other. And mind you, before we even got together, we were still fighting. I saw the red flags. My intuition was telling me that it was off, but I moved anyway. And we stayed together for 2 years. And dude, I can tell you, it was so toxic. Of course, we had our own issues that we needed to work on, but I just moved to a state that I didn't want to move to. I went to a school I didn't want to go to. And I even started going down a career path that I didn't even really want to do, but I was kind of allowing myself to be guided by this woman. And that's just because she had a strong personality and I was a weak man. That's the truth. But we stayed together. We renewed our lease. We were there for 2 years. And it was so toxic. I mean, across the board, it was toxic. We had to call the cops before. And I remember right before we broke up, we're standing in the kitchen. You know, we had dogs together. We had a whole life together. This one day, we're standing in the kitchen. It was actually a rainy day in the winter. And she's standing there crying, tears down her face. And she said, "Brian, you just need to find what makes you happy because I can't be that for you." And it really hit me. I had to think about it. I was pretty mad at the time, so I didn't really reflect on this until maybe a year later. But she was right. I was depending on this woman for all my happiness. She actually had a job where she was a flight attendant and she traveled a lot. So she was gone 50% of the time. And my lame ass didn't even want to travel because I was so stubborn. I just wanted a woman to cook for me, clean for me, And I didn't even really, I feel like I didn't even truly love this woman because, I mean, maybe not on a deep level. There was definitely some love there, but I didn't truly love myself, man. I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know where I was going. I was just trying to figure my life out. And I had actually reached out to her after I moved down to Florida. When we broke up, I got another place by myself. And, I started going through a spiritual enlightenment. And I basically had realized she was right. I need to find what makes me happy. And when I finally started to figure out who I was and realize what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go and actually find true happiness, I told her and I said, I really appreciate the experience because I wouldn't be who I am today. And I want to let you know that I finally started to find myself. And sometimes in life, we have to stop dating. We have to get rid of all the external noise and distractions and go into solitude and just be in our own energy without dating, without casual hookups. And you really try to get to know yourself, understand yourself, figure out who you are, what you want in life, where you want to go, and what type of person you want to be with if you're going to be with a woman. So this relationship taught me a whole lot about myself. I realized exactly what I don't want in a woman and what I do want in a woman and what I value. So together for 2 years, we broke up. I moved down to Florida, and I would say for about a year, I just started going on a dating spree. I was hooking up, lots of casual hookups. And man, I still did not really understand women at all, female nature. It wasn't until I actually started researching the difference between male and female psychology. And I picked up a book by Corey Wayne called The 3% Man. And there's lots of good insight in that book. Highly recommend it. Because women really aren't that complicated until you learn to understand their nature, right? And there's good women out here. There's lots of toxic crap going on, but there's definitely some good women. So for about 2 years, I would say, well, really about a year, I was dating a ton of different women. I was going on dates, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, the whole 9 yards. And I didn't really have success with any women. There was one woman that I was super hung up on for about a year. And I was way over the top. I was way over validating her. We literally met and we hooked up for a couple months. And then, dude, actually, the third time we hooked up, apparently I got her pregnant, which is crazy. And this is actually the second woman I got pregnant, allegedly. One was when I was in the military. But this woman, this was in 15, 16. This was like the beginning of 2018. And we dated for about 3 months, only hooked up like maybe 5 times. The third time we hooked up, literally, apparently she got pregnant. And she was 3 years younger than me. She was in college. I was in college. And she basically ghosted me. She went cold because she didn't want me to be a part of her life. She ended up having an abortion, which is really sad. But she went cold on me because she had a lot of issues. I mean, I was also pushing way too hard, bro. I was just way over the top. I was suffocating this girl. I was suffocating her. And if you're too much, too over the top, it can scare women away. And she could honestly sense that I was a very weak man. I was very insecure. And it was just too much, man. It was too over the top. I didn't really have my purpose figured out. I wasn't really a man of purpose at this point. And I had been in the military, but just because you're in the military doesn't mean you have it all together. It literally took me all through my 20s. So I thought about this girl for an entire year. She'd play hot and cold with me, no contact, all that. And it drove me nuts. It literally drove me crazy. And at the time, I was in college full time, and I was also working a security job overnight from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. in a security car while I'm in school, lots of time in my thoughts. And this is when I really started digging into trying to understand the difference between male and female psychology and really trying to understand female nature. Because it's not about playing games, but you really have to understand this stuff or else you're going to continue getting your heart broken. So after one failed relationship, one dating experience after the next that was failed, I kept getting ghosted, left on red, all this kind of stuff. And I just had to look at myself in the mirror and realize, dude, there's a lot of shit that you don't know. Like, let's take some fucking accountability. So I started reading the book 3% Man by Corey Wayne. I was exploring different content on YouTube, and I started to understand things better, started to piece things together. And so this is in 2018 now. Like I said, we didn't really talk at all for the whole year. She ghosted me and it drove me nuts. But then I finally found peace and I finally was able to accept and move on. And 2018, I hit rock bottom at the end of 2018 because I had blowed so much money, racked up my credit card to over $11,000. I went negative in my checking account, like $600. My stepdad actually had to help me, which was so embarrassing being at like 26, 27 years old. I ended up having to leave my apartment in Florida. I moved back to Georgia, which is where I am now, at the beginning of 2019 with my younger sister. I literally had no friends. I had no money. I actually had to borrow like $150 from my sister at the beginning of 2019. And I had let my body go to shit. I was eating McDonald's. I was kind of in a depressive mindset. And I had done personal training in the past, but I kind of pushed that aside. So I basically sold all my stuff in an apartment and moved to Georgia and got an apartment with 3 other roommates. And it was just a shitty apartment. I was just trying to start over. So basically, bro, for an entire year from 2019 to 2020, dude, I didn't date any women. I was locked in. I was monk mode. I got completely shredded within 4 months, changed my physique. I got certified as a personal trainer again. People started reaching out to me. I didn't date at all. I literally was not dating at all for an entire year. I did not have sex at all. And I literally just poured into myself. I started reading. I was just heavy on personal development, transform my physique, my body. And I really started to get some direction of where I wanted to go. And sometimes in life, you have to do that. I deleted the dating apps, all of them. Didn't even mess with it because I knew that I had to start building myself into value. You know, fast forward a little bit, I did find some women that I would date here and there casually, but I eventually ended up finishing my degree because I had gone to college for 4 years and I didn't get a degree. So I ended up finishing my degree over the next 2 years, started my own fitness business during COVID after the gym shut down. And at the beginning of 2022, I had finished college and then I went and got a corporate job in sales. And so now I've been in sales for about 3.5 years. And really, dude, ever since then, I've dated a handful of women, but I started focusing so much on my personal growth and I was afraid to let someone in. And you might be able to relate to this. Like I've talked to a lot of guys and sometimes as guys, the thing is we just get really comfortable with where we are. And a lot of guys get really comfortable in their self-improvement journey. And even though they could attract someone, even though they could have a girlfriend, we're just too comfortable on our own. I've been living by myself, by choice, no girlfriend, by choice for 8.5 years almost now. And that's pretty crazy. But I feel like now I'm finally in a better place to where with my career, with my body, with my money, like with my mind, I feel like I'm finally in a better place to where I could actually invite that in and actually be open to putting myself out there. Because about a year ago, I started moving away from the red pill space. Dude, for about 3 years, I was consuming a ton of red pill content and just getting so sucked into it. And it put me in a really bad mind frame. Now, there's definitely some good stuff within their philosophies. Like there's definitely some good nuggets, some good meat that you can pick out from Rollo Tomasi, The Rational Male, good book. I know Casey Zander, shout out to him. He's got some good content, but a lot of the red pill community is toxic. And it literally had me convinced that I just need to focus on my money, my body, my status, and just building myself up as a man. And as long as you do that, you're going to have an abundance of women. And that they just come to you. That's not true, number one. Number two, you are afraid to commit. You have too much armor on. You have to be somewhat open. If you're in a season of your life where you would like to have that, you need to be in a good position to be able to support financially because it's competitive out here. You have to be getting after it, right? And I'm not some crazy big dude. I mean, I used to do fitness modeling, but I'm like 5'9", pretty good shape, but I'm nothing crazy special, So you really just have to max out everything you were blessed with in your life and continuously level up. That's going to be huge. But you can trust some of these women. Okay. And there's a lot of women that are on game these days, lots of women that are playing games and toxic. So it is tough, but you have to just know what to look for in a woman. And I'm not going to make that in this video. That'll be a whole separate video. And I have a red flags, green flags video that you should definitely check out if you haven't already. But dude, if you have this mindset, this doomer mindset that all women are bad, you can't trust them, love doesn't exist, all this bullshit, you're going to be lonely and single forever, because it doesn't matter how many Instagram followers you have, what watches you have, what cars you have, what your status is, what your job is, like fucking how ripped you are, how tall you are. Bro, you could have everything and be in an empty fucking house by yourself. And if you don't have anyone to share it with, that's going to be a very depressing life. So I think a lot of these guys out here, a lot of you guys struggle with pigeonhole yourselves in this negative mindset that you can't trust any women. And it's fucking not a healthy mindset to be in. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention is, I was just talking to a friend the other day about this. One of my buddies up in Canada, he has a pretty big YouTube channel, and he brought up a really good point. And he mentioned how really attractive women these days get so much free validation. They have life on easy mode. And it's true. No hate or shade on women, but it is actually true. Attractive women have life on easy mode. Think about it. They really do. We as men, most guys are good guys. We have to be getting after it. There is a lot that is expected of us in society, and it's very, very competitive. But if you think about it, a lot of the attractive women out here, for so long, I always thought the most important thing was how much money I make, how ripped I am, how smart I am, my career, my status, my Instagram followers, all the checks in the boxes. I always thought it was all those things. And if I have all of those things, that's going to open up a higher tier of women. And to an extent, that is true. So it's twofold. It is true to an extent. You have to be continuously progressing and getting after it in life because it is competitive. But you can have all that and a woman could still leave you. So it's kind of fucked. Also, this is a new perspective my buddy had just brought up. Think about it. A lot of the really attractive women out here, they like to be with beta simp guys. Literally dudes that just pay for their entire life and they simp for them. It's interesting, right? So the true high value guys who are really getting after it, most really attractive women that you would maybe want aren't actually gonna give a shit because a lot of them are very insecure. They're very insecure. So if you are smart, you make good money, you have a nice physique, you're disciplined, you're a man of purpose, you're getting after it in your life. If you're doing all these things, dude, for a lot of women, that is very intimidating for them. Again, not all women. I don't hate women, okay? Understand this. This is not men go their own way. I'm just telling you how this new perspective I just realized. So, lots of women want to just walk all over guys. And that's why you see a lot of really attractive women with guys who really aren't that great looking, but they make a ton of money. And they're basically just simps, bro. Beta bucks. So it's a reality. So I say all that to say, just painting the full picture, what does that mean for you? You still need to be upgrading in your life, and you need to understand female nature, and you need to be on the lookout for good women. So I'm going to help you find and attract the right women into your life. I get tons of great matches on like Hinge and Bumble and stuff like that. And, I get all kinds of looks at the gym and when I meet women in person, because there's an aura about me. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but that's just how it is. It's an aura. It's an energy. I don't watch porn. I'm not having low vibrational hookups and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, I did go through that phase from about 2020 to 2023-ish. I was like hardcore in the red pill phase, spinning plates, hooking up with multiple women, dating multiple women. And typically they knew that I was, and they didn't really care, most of them. And I just got tired of that lifestyle. I got tired of breaking hearts, and I realized, you know what? I need to just go on my own and not date at all. So there have been like 3 periods in my life where I did not have sex, I did not date or talk to any women for like an entire year. And I was just pouring into myself. And now I feel like this is definitely the year. So this is really my story. Red pill community is toxic. Do not get sucked into that content. Black pill content, doomer mindset, stay away from that. Okay? This is the Ascended Man, where I help you forge strength, elevate your spirit, and lead with purpose. That's what we're all about. It's about being in touch with your masculine and your feminine energy, the yin and the yang. Because if you're always just so stoic and closed off, you're never going to actually be open to receiving love in your life. But you still have to have that balance of being masculine and strong and, you know, being a leader and not just folding and putting women on pedestals, right? It's about having the balance. So the past 8.5 years have been a wild ride, you know, and it's definitely been an experience, but it is what it is. I'm happy with my life. And that's the thing, is I have been able to find what makes me happy. I'm on my purpose. I started YouTube. I make good money now. I have a good career. I have great friends. I'm in shape. Like, I feel amazing. I've had so much time to pour into myself. So really, if you're single right now, just pour into yourself, bro. Literally seize this time as an opportunity, as a gift rather. This season is a gift to just pour into yourself and go in the right places to meet the right women, because I allowed myself to get heartbroken over women I met at a club, at a bar, at a festival, whatever. Dude, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to meet a high quality woman there. So meet a woman at church, at the gym, at a boot camp class, at yoga, you know, at a local meetup, doing something active, right? That's it, man. Anyway, that's my story. It's been a wild ride, but anyway, I just wanted to ramble today. If you found this video helpful though, I want you to hit that like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more content. And I usually script out like most of my videos. Literally, I would say probably 70% of my videos lately, I script them out. I mean, I have an outline and I'm reading it, but today, from the heart, a little bit of a ramble, but that's just a little bit about me, man. Now, hopefully that resonate with some guys out there, man. If it did, comment down below. Tell me your story, and I want to hear it. Peace.